Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and welcome to Gaborone Toastmasters meeting for the 18th of November 2025. And as stated, my name is Leya Musunga. I'm the president of Gaborone Toastmasters, so definitely want to welcome you all for our meeting today. We have an amazing meeting set up for you. And I think before I just get to introducing our Toastmaster of the day, I just want to read out the mission, our club mission, because as a club, Gaborone Toastmasters, we actually do have a mission that we're trying to achieve. So as a club, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. So that is our club mission. I'd now like to introduce the person who will be guiding our meeting today. It is none other than our club sergeant of arms, and this person has been a Toastmaster for quite a while. And I think this will be the second time she has challenged herself to take up the role, or second or third time to take up the role of Toastmaster of the day. So I was very excited when I saw her name on the list. And I'm like, this is what we want in Toastmasters, is people just, jumping right into it, because this is a safe environment and this is where we come to learn. And again, it's a safe environment for everyone to be able to practice that communication and leadership skill. So our Toastmaster of the day is none other than Matidiso Tamaki. She is an accountant by profession and an aspiring keynote speaker, if I'm not mistaken. With that being said, please help me welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Matidiso.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Leya. I will now put on the hat of a Toastmaster of the day. It gives me great pleasure to be your host today. My role as Toastmaster of the day, or as commonly known as Director or Master of Ceremony, is to ensure the meeting runs smoothly. Our theme for today's meeting is It's Never Too Late. Toastmasters is a safe learning environment for our public speaking journey. The first item on the agenda is the toast. It is a staple in our meeting to have a toast before we begin our meetings. So let's all grab a cup of tea, drink, or water so that we toast to our meeting. We can have our cameras on for the toast. Okay. Today's theme reminds us of a simple but powerful truth. It's never too late. It's never too late to find our voices, to sharpen our skills, or to become the communicators and the leaders that we aspire to be. So here's to progress, to any pace, to goals we are still reaching for, and the courage to begin again, no matter what, when we want to start. Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Okay, so as the captain of this ship, I'm not steering this ship alone. I have a team of well-rounded co-pilots to assist me in this role of Toastmaster of the day. At this point, I will call out the role players to introduce their roles. Up on the virtual stage, I will invite our timekeeper. Mr. Ernest Betha. Is he on the call?
Good evening, Madam Toastmaster.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Ahead. Yes, you are audible.
Yes. Greetings, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Ernest Pako Betha. I'll be the timekeeper for the day. As the timekeeper, I'll time the table topic speakers, formal speeches, and evaluations. I'll also alert speaker of the time they have left using different cards, using the green card, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific times. So for table topics, at 1 minute, I'll raise the green card. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I'll raise the red card. So those giving speeches should limit their remarks to their specific time. So for icebreaker speeches should be between 4 and 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I'll raise the red card. And for other speeches, most other speeches should be between 5 and 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 6 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I'll raise the red card. For individual evaluations, should be between 2 to 3 minutes. And at 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Thank you, Madam Toastmasters. Indeed, it's never too late.
Okay.
Even to take your first role.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Ernest. Wonderful of you to take the role. At this point, I will call the grammarian to the virtual stage, Zolile Harvey. Please welcome to the virtual stage and introduce your role.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listen carefully to their language use. I'll take note of any misuses of the English language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word of the day is buttress, which means something that supports, strengthens, or reinforces either physically, like a structure supporting a wall, or metaphorically, it could be an idea, an argument, or a plan being reinforced. For example, the data will buttress our argument for increased activations next year. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. At the end of the meeting or towards the end of the meeting, I'll give a word of the day report and grammatical usage report when called upon during the meeting. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, thank you, Zolile. At this point, I will invite our counter to the virtual stage, Brian Masheling. Brian, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I'll be taking the mantle of our counter. Yeah. Oh, greetings, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of my job as our counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During this meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. And I will also listen for filler words, including I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase, such as I, or this means. And at the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Have a good one.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. And the next on the virtual stage is our hackmaster, Mr. Tato Komani. Over to you, Tato.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening. As your Hackmaster, My role is to encourage you to listen closely or attentively during the meeting. Let me start by explaining the word hug. Hug simply means to pay attention or to listen carefully. I will be noting questions from various discussions, speeches, and any contribution made by our role players. I will come later to come and engage you based on what has been shared in the meeting. So let's be attentive and embrace this meeting, what it has to offer. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tato Homani. At this point, I will be calling upon the evaluators to the stage to come and introduce the speakers. Our meeting is structured into two parts. The first segment is the prepared speeches, and later the second section is where we are going to be getting feedback from the evaluators. At this point, I will call the first evaluator, Ms. Lame Mthethwa, who will be evaluating Tumelo Maphalala. Over to you, Ms. Lame Mthethwa.
Thank you, Toastmaster Matshidiso. This evening, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This evening, I have the privilege of evaluating Tumelo Maphalala's speech, and she's doing her second speech, which she did a consensus. She put a team together, did a consensus. Now she's doing her second speech, which is going to be a 5 to 7 minute speech. And the purpose of her project, or the purpose statement for her project, is for her to work with a group of people practicing reaching a consensus on any topic. And the purpose of this particular speech, which she'll be giving, is for the member to discuss his or her experience leading a non-Toastmaster group in reaching a consensus. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Tumelo Maphalala to the virtual stage. Tumelo, over to you.
Have you ever been sitting in a meeting and thinking, that doesn't sound right? Something's missing. That was me last month. Good evening, Gaborone Toastmasters Club, visiting Toastmasters and guests. How did I find myself in such a meeting, you might ask? Well, I was selected to give technical advice on a team that was to procure some critical raw materials at my place of work. To give context, I work for a pharmaceutical company which specializes in the production of animal or livestock vaccines. This particular project was for us to work together to procure, like I said, critical raw materials. At first, I thought, me? Technical advice? Are they sure? What made the imposter syndrome so much worse was that I found out I was the only technical advisor. There was no one to cross-check anything I had to say. Were they sure? After a discussion with my colleague, and probably the reason why I was chosen for this exercise, I learned that my expertise was indeed needed, and I was chosen because they believed in my potential. I eased into the assignment. I figured, how hard can it be? I'll just walk in, check the specs, give my input, and leave the rest to the procurement team. Little did I know. It was at this meeting that we perused all the necessary documentation for this exercise. And something was off. Something was missing. In fact, several items were missing, several critical items in the production process. They weren't just missing or misidentified or erroneously identified, they were missing altogether. At first, I thought, let me just tell these people to stop right here, stop this exercise, this is not going to work. But I had changed. I had become a collaborative leader under Toastmasters training. And it is there that I remembered that how you say things are as equally important as what you say. Could we please go through this list one by one? I'd love to appreciate the rationale behind the selection, is what I said. What I had noticed was that this list had focused only on the production of antigen and not quite the difficult or intricate details of in-process tests and even tests beyond production that made sure we had a viable product. As we went list by list, product by product, I asked, have you considered the implications of leaving out product A, B, C, D, or E? Because I had identified 5 missing items. It is there that I got mixed reviews. I thought that was your role. Isn't this what that is? Wasn't it the production department's responsibility? Were the questions that came up. Eyebrows rose. People shuffled in their seats. My concern had become our concern. My questions had led to a deliberation on the implications of leaving out these items. Should we carry on with the procurement process or rather start a separate process where we could potentially experience delays and even failures in the production process? There we stopped. We looked at all the potential risks, the financial implications, and perhaps the gaps in production that would occur. My question had sparked the necessary comments for a discussion, for us, an opportunity to reach a consensus. After deliberating for quite some time and even bringing in more experts to give their view, the team came to a consensus that we needed to halt the procurement process. Not because I told them to, but rather because we collectively agreed on this. In this whole exercise, I realized that what could have been a scuffle and resistance turned into a deliberate motion on collaboration and actually helped us stop and reevaluate the process. What happened next was that the process was paused, as was to be expected, and reevaluated. The documentations were corrected. I even volunteered to help correct these. And from the 5 items I identified, it turned out we had forgotten 11. Wow. This exercise taught me 3 powerful things about reaching a consensus and leadership. First is that people believe in what they helped create, which was what happened there. I ushered these people into this discussion and they had buy-in, which is why they participated so well. Second, reaching a consensus is not about agreement. It's about alignment. At first, we had differing opinions. Some were of the view that we should continue and start another process. Some preferred we stop, correct, and do this at once. But in the end, we moved in one direction. Third, and lastly, leadership is not about telling people what to do. It's about creating the environment where this correct decision can be made. Which led me to think, in life, in all spheres of life, we come across moments where decisions are critical, where we need to make a correct decision or else there'd be dire consequences. And this buttresses how important reaching a consensus is. A consensus is not a shortcut. It's not just getting everyone to agree for the process, for the progress of what you want, but rather a bridge. And if built properly, it reinforces trust, teams, and even leadership. I urge you to take the moment to deliver a consensus well in order to achieve what you intend to get. I thank you.
Thank you, Tumelo. Let's unmute and give a round of applause for Tumelo.
Woo, 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 woo.
Thank you. Thank you, Tumelo. It's true that we believe in what we help create, the us in consensus. Thank you for that wonderful speech. Up next, we have Palesa Makgato. I will invite Julie Davies to the virtual stage to come and introduce Palesa. Over to you, Julie.
Oh, the thunder is rolling outside in anticipation of the great event which is about to take place. A storm here in Belito and load shedding in Gaborone. I really hope that we all get through the meeting successfully, because it is a very special privilege for me to be the evaluator for this session this evening that Palesa is presenting to us. So good evening, fellow Toastmasters in Botswana and wherever you are around Southern Africa. Palesa is doing the pathway or the path presentation mastery. Her level is level 4, and she is doing a speech with questions and answers that follow. And she's got an allocated time of 15 to 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes that we hope we have all got power, not only Palesa, there in Botswana and here in South Africa. The purpose of the speech is to practice facilitating a question and answer session, something new and different for us all to learn from and that we can put into practice in the real world. She has to, first of all, deliver an informative speech, timing it carefully with sufficient allocation of time for a question and answering session afterwards. She needs to facilitate that question and answer session very carefully. It has to be well managed. She has to think about the responses of the audience to the speech and encourage participation of members of the audience to respond to the speech that she prepares for us. So, well, what are we going to do? We're all going to keep our fingers crossed. We're going to allow for technical hitches. We're going to watch the power. And if the lights go out or it's a bit dim, it's not because the will isn't there. It's the electricity or the lightning. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster or Palesa, are you going to go straight away?
Thank you, Julie. Okay.
Are you going to give the title?
Let's welcome. Hello, Julie.
Are you going to give the title?
Okay. Yes, I will introduce Palesa and provide her speech title. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Palesa Makgato to the virtual stage with her speech titled The Weight of One Question. Over to you, Palesa.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, visiting Toastmasters, and our lovely guests. As mentioned by my evaluator this evening, my project is that of a question and answer session. So for the first 10 minutes, I will give you my presentation. And may I ask that you jot down any questions that you may have regarding the message or anything that piques your interest during my presentation. And we will then speak to the presentation at the end with the Q&A session. Thank you. Ma, o tlhatswa leng lesir? A question asked with the weight of judgment. In the Setswana culture, it simply means you've been married for some time. When are you having children? For some of us, we might understand just how intrusive that question can be. And for my husband and I, it has been the soundtrack of our lives for the past 6 years since we tied the knot. Luckily, every time we'd come across somebody who asked that question, he was quick to answer on my behalf. To the elders, he'd say, God's timing, and keep it moving. That conversation would end right there and then. And to the younger generation, he'd abruptly and dismissively say, Don't ask my wife and I such questions. The last thing we want is to be stressing about diapers, extra bills, school fees, and God forbid, babysitters, especially when I have the sudden urge to take her on a trip away impromptu. So please, keep such questions to yourself. On the days where he was unavailable, I can admit to the fact that my answer wasn't as diplomatic as his. The question would usually annoy me, and I'd find myself shooting and saying to the next person, I don't recall giving you permission to discuss my reproductive system, or let alone my womb's capabilities. Did I? And the room will go quiet. Everybody will freeze. It would be as if I just released a fart and everybody's uncomfortable, often pretending that, oops, I didn't ask that question. That was in the earlier days. Nowadays, I'm a bit more chilled and I welcome the question. And I will joyfully respond by saying, we do have kids. We have 2 boys, actually. Their names are El Chapo Makgato and Jelly Bean Makgato. What is going on? Hi, I think I just lost connection. Am I good? Okay, let me continue.
No, you're good.
You're good.
Please continue.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So I will then tell him that we have 2 boys, Jelly Bean Makgato and El Chapo Makgato. I'm the proud mom of 2 dogs. When I first met Chapo, he was this adorable little 7-week-year-old mix of a Jack Russell and a Pekingese. So energetic and more than willing to go home with me. What was supposed to be a meet and greet quickly turned into me running helter-skelter, looking for boxes to help me transport him home in. His energies were just right. And that buttressed just how he was a perfect match for our household. With Jelly Bean, though, that was a completely different experience. I recall when we first went to collect him, or rather meet and greet, he was recluse, shy, and somber looking. Granted, he was suffering and trying to heal from the loss of his 6 siblings, as he was part of an 8 puppy litter. When I met him, it was just 2 siblings, him and his sister. So I understood the pain he was in and thought to myself, I don't believe this would be a perfect match. And when I suggested we look elsewhere, my husband said to me, nope, this is your birthday present. You've always wanted a pug, so there you go. I've also confirmed that we're taking it home, so we don't have a choice. Romantic? Absolutely. Chaotic? Yes. What was I going to do with this little thing that I did not feel would be a perfect match for our home? The first 2 nights in our household were absolutely terrible. The poor thing kept us up all night, wailing throughout the night. Our dogs stay in our house for the first month, so you can imagine how tough I thought the month would be. He cried throughout the night. He peed on the walls and even pooped in the living room. I was livid. And do you know who had to clean up that mess? Me. Mommy. It wasn't all so bad though. On the 4th day, I remember him acclimatizing to his environment and even approaching me to play. As I stand before you today, I am a proud mom of a 6-year-old Jack Russell and a 4-year-old pug. I absolutely love my boys. One could ask themselves, are dog parents really parents? And the answer to that is absolutely. The role of a parent is to love, nurture, feed their children, provide shelter, and take care of them in a holistic manner. And that's exactly what my husband and I do. Those are our kids. I mean, they even have their own personality. Every time I find a new spot that they've started peeing on outside, I know that was definitely Jellybean's idea. He's the culprit. And every time they sneak out of the gate and come back, Chapo knows not to leave his younger brother behind, because if he comes home without the child, he might just catch a smack from his mother. Our dogs have personalities. They're quirky, they're smart, they're loving, and they're just all around amazing. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, the next time you have the urge to ask somebody an intrusive question, take a moment and ask yourself, am I being kind when I ask them this question? What does their personal choice have to do with me? Am I perhaps triggering a silent battle within them by asking them this insensitive question? Because most of us are dealing with certain things that we don't necessarily discuss with people. And you never know how your insensitive question could trigger the next person. And the response might be a rude response or even a slap across the face. Not because the person you're asking is rude, but simply because they're trying to defend themselves or protect themselves from an intrusive question you are asking. So I ask us all to lead with kindness, compassion, and sympathy. Because the next person's life choices have absolutely nothing to do with you. Also, to each their own. Thank you. Toasties, that is the end of my presentation. And I'd like to invite you to ask any questions you may have regarding the message I have just shared, my principles, or my adorable kids. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Do
I
you
have a
pictures of your
question.
dogs?
Okay. First question. Yes, Tumelo, I think I heard your voice. You can go first.
Okay. Hi, Palesa. Personally,
Hi.
I think people who ask that question are worthy of a slap across the face, but it's not the convo right now. What was the rationale behind the names of your babies?
Lovely. I love that question. So with regards to El Chapo, my husband loves these narco movies and series. So we're always watching your El Chapo Guzmans, and we thought that would be a nice name for a dog one day. And with regards to Jelly Bean, there's a series called The Blacklist. I don't know if anyone on the call watches The Blacklist. There's a funny character on there named Jelly Bean. We generally are laid back people, so we don't like your usual Bobby or Sporty or Rex kind of names. We like to go for the more unconventional names. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Brian had a question. He was unmuted. And then Matidiso.
Lovely. Brian? Yes.
Miss Palesa, do you
Hi,
have
Brian.
pictures of your dogs?
Do I have?
Images, pictures, photos of your dogs. Want to see?
Oh, yes, I will. I will definitely share them on the chat after this. You will agree with me that they are very cute dogs.
Yeah. We'll see.
I'm the mom. I have to say my kids are cute. Thank you for that question. Next up, Matsiriso, I believe you have a question.
You answered it. Was about, I wanted to find out how you came about those names. I guess you've answered it now. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any more questions? If there are no more questions, I have a question that I would like to pose to the audience while you
I
I
think
have a
of the next.
I have
question.
another question. Okay.
Yes, please. Unfortunately, this is not in person, so I can't see who's asking the question.
That's
It's Lami.
Lami.
Okay. Hi, Lami. Yes, ma'am. Please shoot.
Okay, Palesa, I have two questions for you. How would you advise a newbie mama to a Jack Russell? And the second question is, are you open to me bringing my little Luna over to play with? You know how we always take our kids to their friends? So I'd really love for Luna to make friends. So would you be open to me bringing her over to your house?
Firstly, I'm going to answer your second question first. Absolutely. Luna is more than welcome to come and play around with Chapo and Jelly Bean. Luna sounds like a girl, so that might be a bit of a problem. We need to, make sure we are paying close attention to them because you know how dogs can get, boys and girls. And with regards to being a new Jack Russell mom, Jack Russells are usually very energetic and they're also very smart dogs. So I would encourage you not to hold him back. They're very expressive as well. So let him be a dog. Let him be a child. Let him enjoy. Because if you don't, we've had 2 instances where Chapo ran away because we had fenced him and kept him away from Jelly Bean. They had some civil sibling rivalry going on. And the first chance he got, he ran away. And we looked for him for 2 days. Luckily, he was able to come back home to us. So I would encourage you to let him be free. Take him on walk. Take her, I apologize, on walks, and you'll be fine. I hope I answered your questions, Lami.
I have another
Great.
question, Palesa. One last question.
Yes, please. Okay.
Yes. My question is much like human children, your dog children have varied personalities. How do you deal with them?
Much like human children, when you know that you've got a naughty child, you know that you must discipline them so they stop misbehaving. And with regards to discipline, actually, maybe let me just explain that one. I don't necessarily beat them because those things are fast. So I will attempt to stroke them with a stick, and that usually gets them in line as quick as possible. And the main thing is just identifying each of their personalities and making that work and not boxing them in one personality trait. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Palesa.
Lovely. I believe those are all the questions. I don't see any more questions. And with that said, I'd like to thank you all for your time this evening. And I hope I was able to sufficiently answer all your questions and I was not rude in my responses, simply because I have let you into my life and I believe that you were also kind enough to ask the questions without necessarily poking at the decision that my household has made not to have children anytime soon. So thank you very much. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Okay, can we all unmute and give a round of applause to Palesa? Thank you, Palesa, for that wonderful presentation. I believe all of us here will exercise kindness, compassion, and sympathy to all that we interact with in our lives. At this point, I will call upon Tumelo Maphalala, who will be evaluating Ms. Leya Musunga. Over to you, Tumelo Maphalala.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the evening. Tonight, I have the pleasure of evaluating Toastmaster Leya Musunga as she pursues the Effective Coaching Level 1 elective, Prepare to Speak Professionally. The objectives of this speech are for Leya to practice developing and practicing a longer speech, that is, to engage her audience for an extended period of time. She is to deliver an engaging keynote style speech, and this speech may be humorous, informational, or whichever style she chooses. In the end, we should get an excellent presentation, and she must deliver a compelling content. With that said, back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Tumelo. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our last speaker of the day, Ms. Leya Musunga, with the speech titled White Flag. Over to you, Ms. Leya.
When faced with obstacles and challenges, How quick are you to raise the white flag of defeat? Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and our guests. I come from a family of 5 children. And when growing up, my parents were very, very diligent in telling us 5 children that the key for success for us in the future was education. We had to make sure that we excelled when we were in school. I attended primary school. I think I did well. When I wrote my grade 7, standard 7, I got all A's. Went on to high school. I thought I didn't do so bad. I got quite a couple of A's and B's in my O-level exam, and I was able to go to university. My 4 years of university went by without much of a problem. Unfortunately, in 3rd year, I actually had to retake one of my subjects, auditing. At university at that point, I was doing a degree in accounting. And the reason why I had chosen this particular degree is when I was in high school, I was very good in accounting. It was one of the A's that I got in my O-levels. So it felt naturally to be a career option for me. As much as I had to retake that one particular subject, I was able to complete my degree in being one of the top students in my particular year. I knew that having a degree wouldn't be enough if I wanted to succeed in my career. And one of the options that was available for me was to undertake a professional qualification. I had 2 options, ACCA or CIMA. Anybody in accounting? I'm sure those are the choices you always have to come to make. I was very good with numbers. So when I had to choose ACCA, CIMA, ACCA it was. Because of the degree that I had gained, I was exempt from the first level of the qualification. In total, there were 3. There were about 8 subjects that I had to undertake for me to get the qualification. I thought, 8 subjects, this will be easy. I'll be done in 2, maybe 2.5 years. 3 years later, I was still writing those exams. I hadn't yet raised my white flag of defeat. One subject kept on making me go back to the exam room. Audit. No matter how many times I took that particular exam, I just couldn't seem to pass it. You may be wondering, how many times did I do it? Not once, not twice, not 3, oh no, 4, 5, no. I kept on failing. 5 years later, I was still struggling to complete this particular exam. I was ready to raise my white flag of defeat. One of my friends came to me and said, Leya, remember why you wanted to get this qualification. You want to make sure that you have better life choices in the future. A degree will not be enough. Put yourself in the top percentile of employees that employers will be looking for. And with this particular, if you And with this particular qualification, you'll even be able to work anywhere in the world. My friend encouraged me not to give up, to remember why I had started the particular qualification. She encouraged me and even told me that she would pay for my next exam. I was excited. Number 6 was gonna do it. I remember sitting in that exam room. I was very confident. After the exam, my friend asked me how it was. I said, this time I have done it. A few weeks later, when the results were emailed to us, I recall checking my phone, opening the email. I was excited. And then what did I see? Oh no, I had failed again. This time, I knew I had to keep on pushing. My friend believed in me, and I had the reason why I'd wanted to undertake this particular qualification yet again. So I registered for the 7th time. And when I finally opened that email that said I had passed, the tears could not stop falling. I was excited that a goal that I had started a few years ago had finally come to fruition. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, what do you do when you face challenges and obstacles? Are you quick to raise the white flag of defeat? Several things drive us to want to quit when we undertake a goal and we realize it's not coming to fruition. I'll share with you 4 items that you might encounter. Number 1, you might realize that you have forgotten your why. Why did you undertake that goal? What was the genesis of you wanting to fulfill the challenge or goal that you have undertaken? It's sometimes great to write it down and even write yourself a letter when you have completed the goal of how you'll be celebrating that you have actually completed the goal. And sometimes we realize that our goals can be vague. Take, for example, if you're trying to lose weight, you might say, my goal is to just get healthier or to successfully lose a certain amount of weight. You have to make sure that when you do set out a goal, that it is very clear and it has a specific deadline that you want to achieve. A second item that sometimes derails us is that we feel that our effort and the reward are mismatched. And you'll find this sometimes when you have a goal and you feel like the goal has plateaued. You work hard, you don't see any visible results. Maybe weeks or months pass by and you're not seeing the results. You may want to give up. The third item that you might encounter could be some emotional or psychological barriers. One of them being fear of failure. This is a massive one, as sometimes quitting feels like this would be the ultimate solution. Because if you try and you don't succeed, at least you would know that you did your best. So it's better to just stop. Sometimes we might experience imposter syndrome. This is the feeling that you're not good enough, that maybe you're just faking it and eventually people will see it. you will be found out. This can erode the confidence within you. And sometimes you just feel burnt out. You have worked so hard, and at one point, you feel that your energy is not producing what you want. The fourth item that you might experience could be external pressures and environment. You feel overwhelmed. The goal is too big. You're looking at the mountain and you see this could be very hard to climb, and it sometimes paralyzes you. And one other item that could affect our external pressures could be, life happens. Unexpected events occur, family issues, work, stress, illness. This can derail you from actually achieving your goals. What can one do to overcome this? There are several things that you can do so that you don't quickly raise your white flag of defeat. Number one, reconnect with your deep why. Why did you undertake this goal? And one thing that can help you is to ask yourself the 5 whys. So if, let's say, for example, you have a goal to say, I want to read 60 books this year. I'm a big reader. But the question would be, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to read 60 books? I want to gain more knowledge. Why do you want to gain more knowledge? It will help me in other areas of my life. Why will it help you in other areas of your life? So you keep on asking yourself why until you get to the root cause of why you want to undertake that particular goal. The second item is to make your goal measurable and manageable. I'm sure we've all heard of SMART goals. I don't know if there's anyone in the room who can tell us what the SMART goals are. Let me just hear now from you all. Anyone want to tell me what the SMART goals are? You can unmute yourself. What does the S stand for?
Simple.
Specific.
M?
Measurable.
Measurable.
A?
Attainable.
Achievable.
R?
Realistic.
And T?
Timely.
Wow, it's amazing. I can see you, my audience, you know what SMART goals are. That can definitely help you to ensure that you're able to meet your goals. If you set yourself, make sure that your goals indeed are SMART goals. That specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and they are time bound. That can definitely help you to motivate you to continue to pursue your goal. The third item that can also help you is to design your environment for success. I'm sure sometimes we have a goal and then we find out that, oh no, the environment that we're in is not conducive for us to be able to succeed. Several things that you can do is reduce friction. This basically means make good habits easy and bad habits hard. Anybody ever tried to lose weight? I know I've definitely been on that journey. It's very difficult to try and lose weight when your house is filled with junk food. So reducing friction means you don't go to the shops and buy chocolates and chips. Your house is empty of the things that can cause you to gain more weight. Instead, you fill your house with fruits, veggies, the healthy things that you need. Another environmental aspect that can help you is find your tribe. It's always good to be surrounded by people, or as we would say, like-minded people who are pursuing the same goal that you are.
Hello, Miss Leya. We seem to have a problem with Miss Leya's network. Tumelo, can you kindly check on Miss Leya?
She's still on the call, but she's frozen. I think we've lost her. We may have lost her. One moment. Can we give a contest style? A few minutes to join the call.
Okay.
Yeah, we lost her. She's off the call. I'm calling her now.
Maybe a power cut.
Yes. But I believe we all got the message that before we even think of raising that white flag of defeat, we must remember our why and soldier on, right?
Hi, Matidiso. Leya got kicked out. I let her know where she was at, and she'll be joining on her phone in a few minutes. Please bear with
Okay,
her.
thank you.
Timekeeper, how much time did she have left? Is that the time? Okay, 5 minutes. She had 5 minutes left. Did you pause? Timekeeper, did you
Yes,
pause?
I did pause. She had about 5 minutes
Oh,
left.
all right.
No,
She's
actually, because
joining the
it's
call.
up to 22 minutes. She had 7 minutes left.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's up to 20.
Hey, this one was up to 20. My apologies about that.
No, it's fine. 22 is extra. So
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting for her to join and then I'll let her in the room. So please bear with her.
Hello, is she experiencing power cuts?
Yes, she is. She was load shed right before the meeting. So I think the network may, or her laptop may have given out. Still no sign of her, but let's give it another minute. Let's see if she can join. We also lost Palesa. Yeah. I'm also load shed, so any moment now I might fall off the call. But I'll join on my phone too.
Okay.
So Julie prophesied this moment. I don't see Leya, but she had gone to 15 minutes, which is quite good. It's past the green light. Oh, there she is. Okay, she's
She'd
joining.
actually gone to 22 minutes. Or
Really?
No, it wasn't.
She's
She had
supposed
7
to
minutes
go
left.
to 20.
She had 7 minutes left.
All right. So it's 5 minutes to 20 and then 7 to 22. Leya, we see you managed to get on the call. Are you ready to progress? Yes.
Yes,
There she is.
please.
All right.
Let me just make sure my presentation is straight. Okay. Apologies, technical difficulties. As I was saying, I think I've been talking about the environment in terms of what we can do for us to help us to ensure that we're able to stick to our goals. And the last thing I was told I said was find your tribe. So this basically means how it's always important to be surrounded by people who are like-minded, like you, in terms of the goals that you're trying to achieve. Because we all know that when we are surrounded by people who are pursuing the same goals that you are, it's much easier for one to be accountable. And accountability is very powerful. Then the fourth item that can help us to ensure that we stick to our goals is if one adopts a resilient mindset. So this just means one of the things you can undertake is to reframe failure. And how do you do this? This is where you use setbacks, not as proof that you can't do it, but as data. So this would be, okay, I didn't succeed this way. Maybe I can try this particular way. That is how you reframe failure. Basically turns quitting into problem solving. Then another item that one can use is focus on the journey. Not just the destination, but what you are learning as you are moving along to pursue your goal. The discipline, the learning, the small improvements, these are where growth actually happens. Jim Rohn once said, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenges, wish for more wisdom." Fellow Toastmasters, guests, the next time you face obstacles and challenges, I hope you won't be too quick to raise the... Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Leya. A round of applause for Ms. Leya. Thank you for that wonderful speech. Thank you, thank you, thank you. At this point, I would call upon our timekeeper to give us a report on how we fared on time. Mr. Ernest, over to you.
Good evening once again, Madam Toastmaster. To our speakers, thank you for all your presentations. My apologies for, it was first time I struggled a little bit with technology getting around Zoom. So hopefully next time I'll do better. But in terms of our speeches, Tumelo Maphalala, she spoke for about 7 minutes and 7 seconds, going overboard by just a little bit of 7 seconds. Palesa Makgato, her speech lasted for 18 minutes, 30 seconds. That even some minutes to spare there. And Leya spoke for 16 minutes, 29 seconds, having 4 minutes, 31 seconds to spare there. Thank you. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ernest. And Tumelo, can you kindly assist with the poll? Voting for the best effort speaker. Tumelo or Ms. Leya, can you kindly assist with the poll?
I've launched the poll. Is it visible on your end?
Yes, please. kindly vote for the best effort speaker. We are at 57%. Can we kindly vote for the best effort speaker?
Warabile has a question.
Warabile.
Warabile, please.
Yeah. Oh, good evening once again. My question is maybe provide guidance around what we should have been looking for, so that when we judge, we know what criteria we should be using.
All right, thank you. Maphalala, would you like to answer or should I answer?
Please go ahead.
Thank you for that question, Warabile. The best effort speaker is not necessarily a competition, but rather your view of who gave the best speech tonight, which is why we call it the best effort speaker. So it's just a way of us recognizing and celebrating the milestones that our members actually commit to by delivering speeches. It's just a way to encourage them. So this is entirely up to you to vote for your favorite speaker of the night.
Okay, thank you, Tumelo. I believe we can continue.
Yes, we are at 61%. Please continue. I'll leave it running for a few minutes and then I'll close it.
Okay. At this point, I will call upon our hack master, Mr. Tato Komane. I believe we've all been listening to the speakers and will be able to answer the questions that Mr. Komane will pose. Over to you, Mr. Tato.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. I told you that I'll be back. Yes, I'm back. I'm back now. So this is an opportunity for everyone. I mean, everyone, especially if you haven't spoken up yet. Don't miss this chance. This is your chance to buttress your confidence in speaking. So let's all unmute and be ready for my easy questions. So this is an interesting one. It's open to everyone. Let's just unmute for my easy questions. Okay, let me just go straight to it. The first question. When was Tumelo in a meeting as a technical advisor? When was that? Is it 10 years ago? Last month? Anyone?
Yesterday.
2 weeks
what?
ago. 2 weeks
These are
ago.
easy.
Last week.
No, another one.
Yesterday.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. That's the first question. I thought it was the easiest. It was sometime last year. Tumelo can confirm that, but it was sometime last year. So how many technical advisors were there in that meeting?
One.
One, correct, great. Okay, another one. Tumelo also in that meeting identified 3 items. So how many were forgotten to be listed as missing items in that meeting?
11.
Great, correct. I want to hear different voices. It's like I'm just hearing from one person. Okay, let me continue to simplify my questions. How long ago Did Palesa tie the knot?
6 years ago.
6
6
years.
years ago.
Great, great. Thanks. Palesa has 2 boys. Can anyone name the boys?
El
El
Chapo,
Chapo
Jelly
And
bean.
jelly
and
bean.
Jack Beans.
Jelly Beans,
Hey, JB.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Is it jelly or daily?
Jelly.
Jelly bean.
Jelly.
Great.
Jelly,
Great. So one of Palesa's boys is named after a character in Blacklist. Which one is that?
Jelly Beans, Jelly Beans.
Jelly bean.
Mm.
Yes, no, correct. So between the two, who is more potential to pee outside?
Jelly Bean.
The naughty one. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, now moving forward, Leya, in terms of Leya, Leya pursued professional accounting. Which one did he choose? She had 2 options between 2 professional accounting courses.
ACCA.
ACCA.
Okay, great. She was exempted in how many levels?
3.
One,
One.
One, 3.
The first level.
one.
Great. The first level. She was exempted on the first level. So there was this specific paper that was really troubling Leya. Which paper was that?
Audit.
Audit.
Oh,
How many attempts does it took Leya to complete that paper, to pass that paper?
7.
7. Yes. Leya gave us several ideas or things for us to not give up. Maybe we can just share 2 in terms of what we should commit to for us not to give up.
know your why.
Know your why.
Smart
Yeah?
goals.
Focus on the
Smart goals.
journey.
Set
Focus
smart
on the journey.
goals.
Resilient mindset.
Reframe
Now
your
I want them.
failures.
Design environment for success.
Yes, no, I think you guys were really, really listening. So, how many children are there in Leah's family? 3, 2.
5.
Okay, great. I think you guys are listening. So, how am I doing with time, Mr. Timekeeper?
You are left with 30 seconds.
I'm left with 30 seconds.
Yes.
Okay. Let me donate that 30 seconds to you, Mr. Timekeeper. Let me say back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. I appreciate the time. Thanks a lot, team. Thanks a lot, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tato. Wonderful. We now move on to the next role player, which is the table topics master, which will be led by Loago Mfolo. This segment helps us to think on our feet and improve our impromptu speaking skills. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Loago Mfolo to the virtual stage. Loago, over to you. Tumelo, can you check if we have Loago on the call?
Good day. I hope I'm visible and audible.
Yes, she's on the call.
Yes, greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today I was
Okay.
given the privilege of being the topics master, and my goal for today, or my task for the day, is most definitely to facilitate table topics and pick on speakers and probably guests to try and improve their speaking and to just come up with fast methods they could come up to, like, talk to us, like pick a topic that they can fully explain out of the blue. And I'm just going to be here to, acknowledge that. And with my task today, speakers that I am going to randomly pick on are going to be given 2 minutes to speak on a subject that I am going to randomly choose. As we dive into the theme guiding us today, I would like to ask a question that is in relation to today's topic, which is, if not now, then when? Because it's never too late to start something. And I would like to pick on, let me see the possible candidates.
There's a hand from Leya. She'd
I
like
just
to
saw the hand.
demonstrate, I guess.
Yes, please, kids. Thank you, Musunga.
I wanted to participate. Yes, you can ask me the question.
Okay. The question is, if not now, then when? Looking at the fact that it's never too late. Literally, it's never too late to start on anything new or to learn a new skill or to just challenge yourself as a human being.
Thank you very much for that, Madam Table Topics Master. If not now, then when? That's a very interesting topic. And definitely there are many different kind of things that we can engage in that we sometimes feel, I can't start this unless, I can't start this until, I can't do this unless all the conditions are perfect. But I've come to realize that in life, like that Nike slogan says, you just have to do it. Sometimes you just have to get started. So if there's a goal that you want to achieve, you don't have to wait until all the conditions are perfect. They can become perfect as you are moving along. The key is to get started. That's why I really love the Chinese proverb that says the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So I love the fact that you just have to take that one step in whatever goal that you want to pursue. You don't have to wait until January to make New Year's resolutions. You can even start even now. We are now in November, whatever it is that you want to achieve, you can actually set a goal to achieve it and start now. You don't have to wait. So I'm a very big proponent of just getting started, diving in. Don't wait for perfect conditions because the time to start is now. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much for this beautiful speech, Leya. I genuinely appreciate how you managed to express the topic out of nowhere, literally. Thank you so much. The next topic I'd like to give out is, what gets you excited about life? Like, what's one thing about life that makes you say, you know what, I want to be different from everybody? Because we live in a world or in an era now where you want to shine, you want to outshine people around you, you want to be seen, you want to be known. So what makes you start up and want to be like, I want to achieve this in life? Thank you. Is there anyone who's willing to take on the topic, or can I randomly pick a person?
I volunteer Warabile Poiso.
Emma.
Please wait till you pick someone to ask the question. But yes, I volunteer Warabile.
You volunteer Warabile, Emma.
Thank you so much for the vote of confidence. And thank you, Toastmaster Table Topic, for the question. So what I got from the question was, what ignites me? And what makes me wake up in the morning? So what makes me wake up in the morning is actually my family. I'm a mother of 3 wonderful kids, and I am also a wife. I look at my kids every morning, and that makes me want to do everything that I do. I wake up and I look at them, looking at them not with the eyes that are so innocent and don't know what the world has out there for them. So I try so hard to make life as innocent and as jovial for them for as long as I can, for as long as they have that innocence in them, until they're able to see the world in a different light, seeing the world as adults. I also live for my partner. My partner gives me so much joy, and I wake up and I want to be the best that I can for him, and just to grow myself and be a better partner for him, because when I grow, that brings growth for our family. Thank you so much. I must say I'm a guest, so the pressure. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Radhavina. That was such a heartfelt message. I truly appreciate it. The last topic that I have that includes the word of the day being buttress is: what embarrassing moment from your past still acts as a buttress, reminding you never to repeat that same mistake again? Is there anyone? Anybody? Even one?
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah.
What mistake from the past makes me say, I'll never repeat this mistake again? As adults, we try to balance things. One of the things that I recently tried to balance was doing CFA while also struggling with some mental issues. As you know, CFA is a very demanding program. It needs time. So I think I was not ready to embark on that. It is not that I'm not smart enough. Sometimes it's just the wrong timing. And it was a mistake because when you think about it, the cost of doing that course, just one level, is so high. So in order for you to do that, you need to be ready. You need to be able to put some time, or about maybe more than 200 hours in preparation, in revision. And considering the amount of money that I've spent, even right now, when I think about writing again, I think, oh man, I've already lost this amount of money. Am I doing this again? Am I going to give it the commitment that it needs? Those who go to school and work know that the balancing school and work sometimes is one of the most challenging things when you consider our family there. There are other aspects of life that we have to attend to. So I'd say that is the recent mistake that I made that I wouldn't want to repeat. If I were to go back to that, I need to know that I am ready to do this. But having said that, I'm willing to go it 7 times like Leya. She just motivated me to go back. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Betha. I hope I'm not butchering your surname. Thank you so, so much. My duty for the day, I think, concludes over here. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Musunga.
Thank you, Luago. That was wonderful. We are heading over to the last segment of our meeting. I will hand over the virtual stage to Julie Davies, who will lead the general evaluator session. Over to you, Julie.
Thank you very much. I see on the screen we have the poll for voting for the best table topic. So I think that we should do that now. We have Leya Musunga, somebody who I'm afraid I can't pronounce the names, but could we perhaps do that voting if it's on the screen at the moment?
Yes, please. After you vote, you may proceed, Julie. Others will vote while you have started.
Oh, okay. Let me just see, man. Good. So now I'm the general evaluator. And I'm in charge of running the second part of the program, which I shall do once I've sorted all these papers out in front of me because I'm doing so many different things at once. What is the role of the general evaluator? Well, the general evaluator runs the second half of the meeting. And that's where we have the speech evaluations, the role player evaluations, and the evaluators all speaking. Everybody has their place in the program. This is where we buttress up our skills. And somebody tells us, perhaps, what we did well, and also what could have been done better. There's always an opportunity to learn more. Never stop learning. That's the theme of the evening. To start off, our first evaluator of the evening is Lamin Matetwa, who is going to evaluate Tumelo Maphalala's speech. Excuse my pronunciation, but like all Toastmasters, I'm trying really hard. And the title of the speech was The Us in Consensus. So could we have that evaluation, please?
Thank you, Julie. And well done to Tumelo Maphalala on giving her speech, The Us in Consensus. Tumelo, you brought out the message of your speech quite well, which was the us in consensus. You were tasked to lead your team as a technical advisor, and you gladly shared your experience, which was the requirement of your speech. 3 things that you did amazingly well. The first thing, Tumelo, you took us on the journey of that experience. Your speech required you to share on the experience of you leading a team. And there was a very good flow in you sharing your experience with us. I loved how you structured your speech. You had a very good introduction. And what made your introduction so good, Tumelo, is that you started your speech with a question. What a way to hook us into your speech. Have you ever been asked to lead a team? And you went on to share how that experience came about, how you sat with your team, the questions you asked your team, and you even shared powerful insights of what you learned or what you took away from that experience. You shared with us that people believe in what they create. That was your experience from you leading a team. You shared with us that reaching a consensus is about alignment, another way to bring us into your experience. And not only did you share those nuggets, you gave scenarios of how you came to realize those certain things. Secondly, Tumelo, what you did amazingly well was the use of your hand gestures. At one point, you said, me, and you beat yourself on the chest. That was well done. You emphasized that by engaging your hand gesture. How hard can it be? You actually showed with your hands. How hard can it be? Another way to incorporate good use of hand gestures. I loved your pace, Tumelo. You paused. You were not rushing over your speech. When you posed the questions, you gave us moments to think about those questions. Now, what can I recommend for you to elevate your next speech? Tumelo, there was an overusage of hand gestures. With every sentence, I could notice the movement of your hands. I could notice a lot of movement of your hands. I can literally say, you speak with your hands. Now pay attention to that in your next speech. That where you need to have your hands down, do so. Where you need to have them up, do so. And in summary, Tumelo, I loved how you brought up the message, the consensus in us. You really brought us into that experience and how that experience came about. I loved the usage of your hand gestures. I loved how you started your speech with a question. Well done on your speech and looking forward to hearing your next speech. Over to you, Julie.
Can I tell you what I really like about Toastmasters? Is that we all swapping roles all the time as we get to meet each other at different opportunities where sometimes we are evaluating our friends and sometimes our friends are evaluating us and sometimes we are each role players and we're getting so many opportunities to learn. So thank you so much, Lame. It was a pleasure to be your evaluator the other day. And really nice now to see you giving an evaluation with lots of tips that we are all able to learn from the speaker and from the evaluator. The next evaluator is me, because I was tasked with the job of evaluating Palesa. Palesa, now let's just revise what Palesa's speech task was, because this is where the conundrum is. Just pay attention here. Presentation Mastery, Level 4, a question and answer session. And the purpose was to facilitate a question and answer session and time management. Well, if I had to merely evaluate the speech, it was brilliant. I completely identified with the feelings that were shared, the challenges that were faced, and the emotional issues which must have been so difficult to deal with. And they were really well explained by this beautiful lady who presented herself. She stood there, she looked professional, she expressed herself with her hands, beautiful body language. When she spoke about God's timing, she put her hand up. She used lovely vocabulary, the soundtrack of our lives. What a lovely, flavorful use of words. She said, I didn't give you permission to ask me such questions. She popped in some humor, like, and pooping and weeing, and that the dogs weren't dogs, they were pets, they were like humans. And she called us all toasties. I love being called a toastie. We're all toasties. But this is where my problem comes in now. Palesa, please could you just note what I'm going to say, and perhaps could everybody else also think about this? If we go back to what the goals were of this speech, it was to present a speech which invited questions. Mr. Timekeeper, I think I've got a few extra minutes for this evaluation because it's longer than a normal speech. So just, I'm watching your color there, and I'm giving myself a couple of extra minutes. But the thing is, firstly, when you're doing a question and answer session, you need to do a topic which invites questioning, which people can think, I want to ask about this, I want to ask about that. This speech was beautiful and passionate and meaningful. I think it left us stunned. Maybe another topic would have invited easier opportunities for people to ask questions. And the time balance was a little bit too heavy on the speech side and a little bit too short on the question and answer session, which was one of the requirements of the speech. However, let me just mention some of the really good ways that those questions were dealt with. She said, I love that question. She said, I hope I answered your question. She said, don't have the answer to your question now, but I'll pop it in the chat later. She said, thank you for that question. And she also asked the question to the audience. And when somebody said, could I have a play date with your dog? She said, sure, we'll arrange it. So to summarize, I would say, 100% for the presentation of the speech. Let's choose a topic which is a little bit more engaging for the audience, that people want to get at you and they want to ask you more questions. Because you were saying that we shouldn't ask questions about such a sensitive topic, and then we're supposed to be asking questions. So we held back because we were emotional. So the choice of the topic of the speech for a question and answer session is really important. I loved it at the end. And she thanked everybody for our courtesy. She thanked us for our kindness in the way that we ask questions. And I thought that was really special. All of us can learn something from this speech and also from the evaluation when you get a level 4 task to do. Thank you very much to me and back to me, because I'm now the general evaluator again. So let me put that piece of paper down and go to my next piece of paper, which is to invite to the virtual stage the third evaluator. And the third evaluator is Tumelo, I believe. Is that correct?
Correct, Julie. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Tonight, I had the pleasure. Please allow me to keep my camera off. I'm sitting in the dark and I need my phone for my notes. Tonight, I had the pleasure of evaluating Toastmaster Leya Musunga, who was delivering a project on Prepare to Speak Professionally. She delivered a beautiful speech titled White Flag. Congratulations, Leya, on delivering that beautiful motivational speech. And it is without a doubt that you satisfied the objectives of your project, which were to keep our attention and engage us in a longer speech. The delivery of my evaluation will take the form of things you did well, not just 3, and then 2 things you may want to work on, and 1 way to challenge yourself. The things you did well was that indeed you satisfied the objectives. You gave a motivational speech, which was clearly purposeful because you told us about your background and your challenges while pursuing your ACCA. You also delivered an interactive speech where you asked us to relate to you what the SMART goals stand for. You used a prop in your white flag, which was quite symbolic of giving up. A white flag is usually used in war to say to stand down and we deliver, we accept defeat. You also used some hand gestures, which we could tell from your delivery in your speech. You gave us a call to action where you advised us not to be so quick to give the white flag. You also, my apologies for the repeated use of also, but you centered your speech around the 4 solutions in which you believe we should anchor ourselves when doing anything difficult in life. The 2 things you may want to work on, however, are vocal variety and stage presence. With vocal variety, it seemed like, or I noticed that you were quite monotonous throughout the speech, whereas vocal variety is layered in tone, pitch, volume, and speed. And there were opportunities to speed up in your speech, to slow down, to whisper, to shout, as examples. In the way of stage presence, I noticed or observed that you stood primarily in one position, although your laptop allowed for you to move from one side to the other. One way to challenge yourself is to use purposeful stage movement. There are several ways in which you can do this. You can map out your stage into your left, center, and right, or you can even use what they call anchor points. In the way that you had 4 points in your speech, in one particular part of your stage for each point. Another thing would be to put invisible barriers in your stage where you would have to either get up to the barrier or stay away from. With that, congratulations, Leya, on delivering that beautiful speech titled White Flag, where you motivated us not to give up or raise our white flag so easily. You did several things well. You satisfied the objectives in a great speech, which was both motivational and informational, and you interacted with us as an audience, used hand gestures, were relatable, and had a call to action. The 2 things you may want to work on, however, are vocal variety and stage presence. Lastly, challenge yourself to use purposeful stage movement. Congratulations, Leya, on getting to yet another level 5 of one of your pathways. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Well, after 3 speeches and 3 evaluators giving their evaluations of the speeches, I think that it's time for the poll. Am I correct? Do we have a poll to vote for the 3 evaluators? Which one you thought gave the best feedback, the most encouraging and the most helpful feedback on the speeches? We had 3 evaluators this evening: Lame, Julie, and Tumelo. How's that for time? Can we carry on? I think that's it. The next person I'm going to call for a report, because all of these reports, all of these helpers are, what was the word of the evening? Actresses. They hold up the meeting. They build up our skills as speakers. And the next person to give us some tips in his report back is the grammarian. Please can I hand over to our grammarian this evening so you can tell us about the use of the word of the day. Did you hear me just use it? And also language usage throughout the evening. Over to you, Mr. Grammarian.
Thank you so much, Julie, our Madam General Evaluator. Thank you to also our Madam Toastmasters, Toasties. I must say I learned a new word today. Thank you, Palesa, and thank you, Julie, for also bringing it up again. Our word for today, buttress, was used 4 times in today's meeting. Tumelo used it once. Raho also used it in her question. Julie, you also used it twice, so 4 times. I'd say it's not a good return. I want to encourage all of you to use such words in the future for your speeches, for your talks, and let it become part of your arsenal. As today's theme reminds us, it's never too late. And then in terms of quotes, thoughts, words, or sayings that I noticed and would like to encourage all Toastmasters and guests to use, for Tumelo, I liked the phrase that she used in a speech. She said, like I said. I suppose you are being intentional in trying to sound relatable and natural. And for Palesa, I know my part is about English, technique and all, but I must commend her for her nonverbal cues. I liked the incorporation of deliberate pauses in her speech. Pausing not only adds clarity, but also strengthens the meaning and emotional weight of your message. And to Leya, I liked the use of various words, one of them being plateaued. It's a strong descriptive word that captures moments where growth slows down or levels off. I also liked her closing or conclusion in her speech. She concluded with a quote. The quote was, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better." It added a strong and memorable finish. And outside the technical use of the English language, I'd like to commend everyone in today's meeting. I think all speakers brought a story to their speeches, from Tumelo, Palesa, Leya, or Rabile to Ernest. That is bravery, and your stories truly resonate with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that very useful report. And one point which I'd like to just repeat there, which is very important, even though you might not have used the word of the day tonight, you can remember that word and use it in your day-to-day lives from here onwards. It's never too late to learn a new word. And that's what we do at Toastmasters. We progress. You can take it into your day-to-day lives. So there's a new word for you, buttress. Remember it. You can pop it into your conversation every now and again. We've got that person now who checks whether we use filler words and all those fiddly things when we don't know what to say next. So it's over to you, Brian, because you're the counter. He's gonna hand over to you. Don't count mine.
I was very tempted, Miss Julie. Very tempted.
No, it's just acting.
All right, thank you for that. Fellow toasties and guests, regarding Ms. Tumelo's speech, her account is as follows. During her speech, She said the word well once, and so once, as well as the word and 9 times, and lastly, or once. Now, on to Ms. Palesa. Her account, she said the word so 5 times. She repeated transport twice, household twice, feed twice. And she extensively used the word and 25 times in a speech. And lastly, her ors were 4. Now, on the final speaker, Miss Leya, her R count is which is 1. She gave us 2 ers, 6 so's, 1 like, 2 buts, 1 or, 21 ands, and she repeated twice the following words or phrases: very, one of the, that, this, you know. I think that's all from my end, unless I'm also evaluating if I'm also speaking.
Now I'm scared. This man did his job properly. He was counting, not to make us feel bad, but so that we can pick up on our bad habits and sort them out in the future, because we are here for learning. So I think we should give that gentleman the job again next time, because he's very sharp on the counting. Have we got to the end of the program? Is it time now for me to give my general evaluator's report? Can somebody help me there?
Yes, yes.
So now it's time for me to give my general evaluator's report.
Yes.
The general evaluator's role is important because everybody at Toastmasters at a meeting is evaluated. In whatever role you play, whether it be a small role or a major role. Even if you are an evaluator, you are evaluated. Not because we want to pick holes in you, but because we want everybody to have the opportunity to learn. All the helpers, all the support group, every member of the team is a buttress in the learning opportunity that you have when you join a Toastmasters meeting. The Sergeant at Arms made sure that we started on time. There was a technical hitch, but that technical hitch was overcome. And she managed to get through. Sorry, somebody's just sending me a message. I got put off. He managed to get through a technical hitch when it took place, which we had to do several times during the course of the evening. The recording of the meeting didn't start right at the beginning, but somebody pointed it out, and with just a short gap, the meeting started to be recorded, because we know at Gaborone Toastmasters, we are very, very good on sharing recordings so that we can look out at what we are doing on the screen, watch ourselves, and see how we can make our own assessment of how we are performing and progressing, and pick up on the tips which we are given by the evaluators. So thank you for sharing those recordings with us. Not every club does it, and it's really, really important. The club mission was read. The Toastmaster of the day was extremely efficient, explained the theme, and we were all clear on the way that the meeting was going to be structured and go forwards. One thing that I notice at lots of Toastmasters clubs is that the term, I'm not just the captain of the ship, or I'm not going to steer the ship alone. I hear it at so many Toastmasters meetings. Can we please perhaps think of some new ways of describing how we have people acting as a buttress on either side of us to support our Toastmaster meetings going forwards? Some new phrases or some new ways to explain. The toast was beautiful. When posh people do toasts, they don't always say cheers. They say, I'd like to make a toast to Gaborone Toastmasters, to Gaborone Toastmasters. You know when you say cheers? When you're having a party, cheers. That's when you say cheers. So let's rather make the toast a little bit more formal. It was beautiful, but perhaps not say cheers. One thing I just picked up on was the poll. I found that a little bit embarrassing because if there's a poll, I noticed it last night when I was doing Worcester Speakers Toastmaster meeting. I didn't vote because I didn't know who to vote for. And I felt a little bit embarrassed tonight when it was said, oh, only so many people have voted so far. There's only 75% of the people have voted so far. Yes, it's a time factor because we want to give people a chance to vote, but sometimes I don't vote. Please stop that red thing that's flashing there. The Harkmaster was brilliant. This Harkmaster was really attentive. He was enthusiastic, beautiful voice, picked up on so many things and pointed out to us all the good aspects which perhaps we hadn't noticed during the course of the evening. Evaluator 1 introduced the details of the speech, spoke with enthusiasm, and gave valuable points for improvement. Evaluator 2, that was myself. I was a little bit long in my introduction, but that's because I was worried about the elements of nature and the elements of electricity. So I was a little bit long with my introduction. I apologize for that. An introduction that an evaluator gives to a speech is only supposed to be about 1.5 minutes long. Tumelo, who gave the third evaluation, Tumelo's like a rocket, a pocket rocket. She packed so much into her evaluation, but it's very well structured. She gives something that's good, something that needs to be improved upon, and some things which are really super at the end so that the speaker feels confident at the end of the evaluation and eager to carry on with another speech the next time. The grammarian had a wonderful speaking voice. I just loved, he sounded like somebody from the movies. I really enjoyed your voice. It's a difficult thing to train your voice to speak well. Some people are born with that gift. Other people have to work at it. And this speaker had a wonderful speaking voice and gave a very, very thorough evaluation of the word of the day, how it was used, and language. The R counter. I noticed that the R counter said he took on the mantle of being an R counter, perhaps for the first time. What a super phrase. What an example of what a Toastmaster should do. Jump at an opportunity. But then he apologized for not greeting us with the correct honorifics. If you make a mistake when you are doing Toastmasters or when you are at work or when you're speaking to anybody, don't say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Just bluff your way through it and carry on. Because you're probably the only person who knows that you made the mistake. The timekeeper, very efficiently done, handled a difficult situation well because we had the glitch with the power outage in Gaborone. Very well handled, no stress, no hassle, no panic. I loved the ticking clock in the corner. I've never seen a ticking clock in the corner at any club that I have ever visited. And it's a brilliant idea. I don't know whether it was your idea or whether it's Gaborone's idea, but it was outstanding. And if I was giving a speech, I would find it extremely useful to see that timer. And I'm glad that timer isn't going at the moment whilst I'm giving this general evaluation, because I know that I'm going over time. Get that red thing off there. Overall, I would like to commend the Gaborone Toastmasters. It's never too late to learn new skills, and that's what we do all the time at Gaborone. And tonight there were some technical hitches. We had challenges, but we overcame them. Nobody panicked. We didn't say, oh, we're going to give up. Never mind, the power's off. It's going to be a disaster. We went forward, we did it, and we had a super, super meeting. There was just one last thing, if I may be, it's on the next page, and that's why I've got it out of order. In connection with the table topics, lovely that the table topics fitted in with the theme of the evening. I think it's better not to say to people that you pick on them. Rather say, I'm giving you this opportunity. So it's the most wonderful thing to be picked on for a table topic. Lovely that the questions were on the theme of the evening. I would suggest for everybody when you are doing table topics is to keep your question for your table topic short, sharp, and to the point. Otherwise, you start answering the table topic question yourself when you want your speaker to be able to do that. State your question, then pick somebody out from the audience. I use the word pick intentionally. Choose somebody from the audience to give the answer to the table topic so that everybody has to think, I wonder, is that going to be me? Is that me? We prepare and then we get chosen. Thank you very much. I know my evaluation was long, but I went to so much trouble writing notes. Over to you, Leya, as the president of the wonderful club of Gaborone. And also thank you very much to you for all you do on social media, sharing especially the hints and the tips for good speaking, which are absolutely fabulous. Thank you, Leya. You work so hard, not only for Gaborone, but for Toastmasters throughout South Africa. We all commend you for your work. Thank you.
No, thank you so much, Julie, for that. And thank you so much to everyone who has been on our meeting today. I know there have been some technical challenges with the power situation that we have here in Gaborone. Hopefully sorted. But otherwise, let me just announce our winners from our meeting today. And the best effort speaker for the night is Palesa Makgato. Woo! Prepare the certificate once I get power. And then best table topics goes to Ernest, Pako. Woo! And then best evaluator goes to Julie Davies. So we'll definitely prepare those certificates and be sending them out to you. Hopefully no later than tomorrow morning. I think by 8 I'll definitely get those done. Oh, wow. Okay. My power just came back. All right. And then in terms of our upcoming meetings, just to remind you, our next meeting is on the 2nd of December. It will be in person, our last meeting for 2025. I want to encourage you all, please join us at Lifeline Medical Clinic. It will have a Christmas theme, so we'll share that with you on our various socials, but please feel free to come along and join us on our last meeting. And then I want to just say well done to most of our role players. I would say the tag team, the timer, our counter, grammarian, even table topics, a master for the night. I think they were all doing their roles today for the first time. So well done for taking that giant leap and taking up a role. I'm always saying I'm always happy with our club. And just to let you know, out of 110 clubs in our district, our club is sitting at 8 goals achieved out of 10. And we are the only club. That is how we do it here at Gaborone Toastmasters. We're aiming to be number 1, but it only can be done because of you all presenting speeches, taking up roles, making sure that we have quality meetings. Thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. See you on the 2nd of December. And if there's anyone who has questions, I'll remain on the call for a further 5 more minutes. Otherwise, have a good night. See you on the 2nd of December.
And bye
Zoom
from
Master,
us online who can't join you in Gaborone.
All right, Tumelo, you may stop the recording.